Hey mom, can I have a quarter? Hey, Frigorn here with a goofy build guide for Path of Exile 2 2.0. I don't even know if I can really call this a build guide, but it's more of a build concept, a kind of a build hope. The patch notes are a mess, but one thing that got buffed was Warbringer, massively buffed, so very nice. If you played my build from the launch last league with totems, it worked great, and it's going to work even better. So that's there. Otherwise, Smith of Katava looks awesome. Huntress is probably the way to go if you want to play something different, fast and zoomy and DPSy. But I think Warbringer or Smith of Katava is now the way to go if you're going to play something tanky. And since we don't have any information on what the skills actually do now, who knows? Some of these May skills may have gotten buffed big time. I know Sunder got buffed huge because it lost some of its speed delay. Went from 1.4 to 1, so that's massive. The block stuff in Warbringer all got better. But here's my thought. I'm going to play Smith of Katava, I think. I'm going to start as warrior. We'll see what happens once I ascend. So I got a scuffy tree here that I don't even know if it's going to exist because it may not be the actual skill points that are there on launch tomorrow. But assuming it's similar and assuming everything looks good and I play Smith of Katava, I'm going to try to do two builds at once. So it's a goofy idea, but I'm going to do Leap Slam Bone Shatter, which is a nice pack clearing skill. Worked great last league. Will work great this league with a one-handed weapon and a mace in my weapon slot 1, and then swap to totems in my weapon slot 2 with big crit Sunder totems. Sunders are guaranteed to crit against enemies with fully broken armor. So the theory on boss fights is I'm going to use the armor break skill or some other skill to break armor. Switch my weapons, drop my big Sunder totems with a two-handed. I don't have a full POB here, I'm just clowning around, but a one-handed mace with good basic, you know, good melee stats in one, so your regular physical damage and extra attack speed, etc., things like that. And then weapon 2, a big two-handed mace with +7 to all melee skills. So with this, you'll drop the level, if you have 20 level 20 gem, Ancestral War Chief, Ancestral Warrior Totem. If you have that at level 20, it'll bump up to 27. You'll get pretty good single target DPS from those Sunders, especially because they're going to be guaranteed crits on anything with fully broken armor. So you can drop those totems, go back to your regular attack, break armor, and those totems will get guaranteed crits as you break the armor. So they'll last. I can't remember the duration on that skill. Quite a few seconds. Let's see here. So base duration of this totem is 8 seconds. So you're gonna get. We were getting like two and a half almost hits off with that in the old version, with Sunder being so slow because it had a 1.4 seconds total attack time. It's going to go down, so it's going to be less. I'm going to guess you're going to get 3 for sure and maybe 4-ish attacks off with this now. So a couple of those will be guaranteed crits because of the way Sunder works with broken armor. So I may look at trying to have that apply bleed too, so your guaranteed crits are applying a bleed. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'm going to scale this. There's just no way to know what you're doing with scaling these things. So weapon swap stuff. Looking at Bone Shatter in my main hand, weapon 1 with a shield, and then using the new helmet that gives you massive increases to enemies on low life. So taking all the once you get that helmet, you'd take these notes. That's end game only. I'm assuming that helmet's going to be hard to get because it seems popular, but there's just massive, massive amounts of increases to enemies on the life in this. Damage is lucky. There's just so many good things, and then over here there's more enemies on low life damage. Just huge. So for very few points, you get massive increases to damage. Um, Other stuff that I'm looking at is using some strength to get some of my accuracy. Um, the weapon swap for one has a little more one-handed stuff. Also has a bunch of block. So this is all coming from weapon swap 1, block from weapon swap 1, block from weapon swap 1. So all that is related to that. And then on the weapon swap 2, my two-handed mace with just using totems, it's giving me the extra totem here, the extra totem here, and then a bunch of crit damage bonus. You don't need crit chance because it's a guaranteed crit on anything that has fully broken armor. It's awesome. And then over here, more big crit damage bonus. So, and then you'll use crit damage bonus supports. I can't remember the one, supercharge crit or something. It's a massive crit chance, but a massive crit damage bonus, but it actually lowers the chance. And then Smith of Kitava, if everything stays the same, we're going to go blood magic because the mana cost of the stuff is stupid. We're going to get good life regeneration, increased life regenerate. We'll put that on our jewels too, better life regenerate. Chances are with Smith of Kitava, we'll take. There's a lot of options. I want to test to see if the summon weapon, the copy of your weapon is a cool node, and if it is, I may completely change and play that. If it stinks, I'll go pure defense in the tree. So it'll take the max resist, max fire resist gives you max everything else resist, and then fire resistance gives you half of your other resistances as well to make gearing super easy. If the offensive nodes for the Ascendancy Smith of Kitava stink, then I'd take the armor one and take more strength, more damage taken as fire. So it'd be 4 nodes in there. So it'd be strength, life, damage taken as fire, and regeneration. So you'd have massive regeneration to fuel your blood magic, which should be just smooth. So a play style would be weapon slot 1, mace and board, jumping around, leap slam, heavy stun everything in the pack, pop a bone shatter. Got a little bit of increased AoE right there. If you can get a little more in the tree, it might be nice. You'll see as you play it. I don't really know how this is going to work. It's just completely conjecture. So I got this one for big increased damage for chance to block. So you're always going to have at least 30-ish, 35% chance to block. So that's just a good note. But while you're in 1, you'll have much higher chance to block. So that's going to be a nice damage buff. So good damage buffs there, good damage buffs there, good damage buffs there. I take a little rage just because it's nice. I may take these life leech nodes. I'm not even sure if they're any good. A little rage on hit is nice. It's just free damage for your attacks. So again, more single target. And then SWAT, and then here's your max fire resist for uncapped. So if you have, way over capped, you're going to get 2 max fire resistance for each 40 uncapped. So you get 40 over the cap, you get 2. You get 80 over the cap, you get 4. We're going to get 1, 2, 3 max res there. So hopefully between that and then probably using that Rise of the Phoenix Shield, which has a bunch of max fire resist on it as well. Let's see if that's in here. Rise of the Phoenix gives you 5 to max fire resist and also regenerate 3 life per second and 3 more while on low life. So just fantastic shield for this build. Fight style will be jump to pack, leap slam to pack, apply a bunch of heavy stuns because leap slam gives out a lot of heavy stuns. And I'll just throw a leap in here. Sorry about the sloppiness of this guide, but I'm just kind of building this on the fly. So leap slam, just has 39% more stun buildup. It's just a good skill to apply heavy stun. You can support this with more stunny type things, jagged ground as you jump, different stuff like that. There's just a lot of good things to put on leap slam. And then you'll hit your bone shatter, which gotta go back to weapon set 1. disabled, but this Path of Building 2 is still goofy to me. I haven't got it all figured out yet. Um, well, so this, excuse me, the Leap Slam will prime enemies for heavy stun, and the Bone Shatter will cause heavy stun in enemies prime. That's what creates the shockwave. So the Leap Slam will prime guys for stun. The Bone Shatter will pop the heavy stun and then cause a big shockwave. Big pack clear. It's just a great pop, jump, pop, jump, pop, jump, pop. It's just a great combo map clear ability. And then for bosses, we'll swap to weapon 2. Drop 3 totems. 1 that we get, and then 2 and 3. They'll all be doing Sunder, buffed as much as we can get it to do as much damage as possible, and crit as hard as it can crit because of the guaranteed crit on enemies with broken armor. And then we'll use the armor break skill or something else, depending if I don't like armor break, some other skill linked to a break armor support or something else, so that my attacks will break armor. I can also the armor break skill is not a bad attack. It doesn't do great damage, but it breaks a ton. And then that will cause, every time the Sunder goes off, if the armor's fully broken, a guaranteed crit, and we'll get big chunks. You'll see it on the harder fights, the bosses, the bigger rares. Big chunks in the health bar as that Sunder crits. It hits very hard. It's a very, very hard hitting skill. Slow, but hard hitting. So that's the theory. Whether it works or not, who knows? It's the patch notes in this is crazy. It's basically like we're getting a completely new game. I actually felt like I knew more about what to expect in Path of Exile 2 the day before it was released for patch 1.0 than I do now that it's been out for months and played multiple builds, because everything got turned upside down so much. So it's cool. I think it's awesome. A lot of people don't like it, but I love not knowing what's going to happen in a video game and getting to find stuff out. So for me, this is like Christmas. It's just as good as it gets. And then, if I get in the game and I play for 3 hours or something tomorrow afternoon, and the mace skills just seem like big turds to me, I'm still playing Smith of Kitava, so I can go anything I want. You can take this build anywhere. You don't have to be pigeonholed into this goofy playstyle that I'm coming up with, where you play melee and shield and then weapon swap to big two-handed totems for boss fights. You could say, I don't like this. I'm going to try spears. And Smith of Kitava is so defensive with the 4 nodes of the resistance and the max resistance, and then 4 in the body armor, buffing that regen and life and strength and everything else. It's just so good and so flexible. You'd be like, and I encourage you to do it, even if you're copying this build and thinking it's awesome. Grab a spear and for a while and chuck it around and see what you think of it. I mean, you got the complete defensive monster powerhouse with Smith of Kitava. Allows you to do anything you want offensively with your points and your weapons. You could go, this is all crap. I'm gonna play minions and just do specters. You could do I don't like this. I'm gonna play spells and shoot fireballs if you want to. I mean, anything works. The magic of the max resistance and how easy it is to gear when you get all of those free lightning and cold resistances from your fire resist is unbelievable. Chieftain and Path of Exile 1 is just free stuff, basically, because of how much you get defensively from the Ascendancy. The Chieftain in Path of Exile 1 has fantastic offensive abilities, too, with these giant fire explosions as part of the Ascendancy. But this one does not. Who knows? Maybe I'll play it and the Enchant Weapon or the Temper Weapon or... what's the other one? Cast a fire spell on hit. They're cool and fun, and I'm gonna try all of them. But if they stink, you just go pure defense. Four nodes in resistances and 4 nodes in that craft armor to make yourself buffed as you can be. And then if this totem build, which I assume will work because it worked great in my Warbringer last league, works well. Just play this guy as a super cheap, because it's cheap to gear. None of these items are expensive. Who knows about that helm for low life? That may be crazy expensive and a chase item. But once you get it, it'll be good for multiple builds that are in this part of the tree. So you could play a Huntress and just work your way over here and use that stuff. Maybe a Bleed Huntress because there's lots of bleed nodes over there too. So you have the helm, you have a piece of gear ready for your next build that's there and free. So stuff like that. Anyway, that's my plan. I'm gonna go Smith the Kitava, see what happens. This may be just fun as can be, playing two different builds: a totem build for bosses and a melee AoE build for pack clear on the same character at the same time. I didn't do a ton with weapon swap last patch because just was learning the game, and every time I'd get a character even kind of tough, I'd want to try something else. Like I wanted to try Blood Mage and I want to try a Monk and all this stuff. So I made like 4 or 5, 6 different builds last patch, and who knows? We'll see. Maybe that'll happen this patch too. But Smith Kitava and then Amazon are the only two classes that I really want to try the most. I think Amazon looks so fun. So my guess is this guy will be easier to get into quality late game red maps, tier 15 maps than an Amazon will be. I know I can go pure. I could switch. If this doesn't work and I don't like it, I could switch gears, go pure Smith Kitava defense, put all my offensive points into buffing my totems damage, and just cruise with totems. You just pop totems. It's an easy build. I did it last league and did just fine. Got to red maps no problem with basically spending nothing. Handfuls of exalts and had no gear. So it's just all you look for is gem levels to buff your totems. So gem levels on all your gear that you can get, and then for melee, I think gem levels for melee or something like that. Melee or physical, I can't remember what all the gear is, but it's there. It's in my old guide, and it's good stuff. Do that. So I know that's there, and there's no way that's going to get nerfed into the ground. It's going to work just fine. So I always have that to fall back on to get this character into red maps, earn some currency, and then decide what I want to try later if I don't like playing this. But my guess is with the improvements to some of these skills, some of these mace skills are not going to feel so horrible and slow as they did before. At least that's what I'm hoping for. They showed it with Sunder and some of the other ones. I'm hoping there's more to it. That warrior playing a mace feels a little smoother. It doesn't have to be a lot smoother. It just has to be a little smoother, and it'll be a great build. So anyway, I know this is an awful build guide, but I will cut this POB out and stick it on the channel for you. You can take a peek at it. I don't know when POB will be updated. I don't know when we'll have real information, if they'll come out with some data mine stuff later on. Who knows? But for now, I know I got a safe build. I know starting this character as a warrior will get me through the campaign, into maps, and I'll figure out a way to make it do damage. Hopefully the way that I'm planning now, because I think it'd be really fun. And if not, Smith Kitava can use any skill in the game and be tanky. So you just figure out how to get your damage in there other ways. If you end up going spears, you just move your way over here and start taking spears, elemental nodes or something, or bleed spears, or who knows what. You can do whatever you want. It's all there. So anyway, good luck with your builds. I hope you have a lot of fun playing this league or patch or whatever it's called. I hope you kick butt. If you like this content and found this goofy guide even remotely useful, please hit the like and subscribe down below, and hope you guys have fun in Path of Exile 2 2.0. Bye-bye.